All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our NBA video here today. For Tuesday, June 15th, my name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally here today, don't forget to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. And speaking of Patreon, we did pick up a couple more wins on that Patreon page yesterday. But the only problem is we had 5 premium selections. So unfortunately, that's another down day for us on that Patreon site. Now, keeping that in mind, we did improve to 3-1 in our last 4 board member tier package picks yesterday. And the good news is we have another board member tier package pick going off here this evening. Plus, board members get access to every single pick that I give out on that website through the end of June. It's kind of an exclusive, all-inclusive pass to everything I post on that page. And despite yesterday's loss, we're still 8-3 in our last 11 NBA tier package picks on that Patreon site as well. And that's good for 73% in that particular category. We currently have over 1,075 members who are signed up and active on that page. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. So once again, another couple of down days, but there's still some bright spots. We're still pretty hot in a couple different tier memberships, so think about taking advantage of that. Now let's go ahead and get into the free content. Bucks versus the Nets, Game 5. That's going to be an 8:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off in New York. Series is all knotted up at 2 games apiece. And it's the Milwaukee Bucks who are minus 4.5 on the road with the total at 218. And if you like the Brooklyn Nets and an upset win on their home court, they're plus $1.65 for some money line cash. And as bad as the Nets have played in their most recent 2 outings, we're still looking at a Brooklyn club who plays exceptional at the Barclays Center. Now, unfortunately, the Nets are going to have to go to work without both Harden and Irving, both players sitting tonight's game out with lower body injuries. Having said that, though, we're still looking at a Nets club who pretty much performed all season long without the luxury of a healthy big three. And like I said, the Nets haven't lost much in the Barclays Center this year. Out of their 41 home games, the Nets only lost 8 times. They also went 24-17 against the number in those 41 home games, and that's good for nearly 60% in that particular category. The Nets have also performed fairly well when catching plus money. Brooklyn's currently 12-9 straight up when they're the underdog, and when you got a guy like KD on your roster, you're never really out of the ball game. He's averaging over 31 points a night in the postseason, 8 boards and 3 assists for Kevin Durant. Now, KD's also making nearly 43% of his playoff three-pointers as well. And speaking of three-pointers, Joe Harris is making over 45% of his three-pointers in the postseason himself. 12 points a night and 3 boards in the playoffs for Harris. And as much as everyone focuses on this Brooklyn offense, which clearly will be affected tonight with injuries, but just keep in mind that the Nets are actually in the top 3 in defensive field goal percentage at home, and they're also in the top 10 in defending the 3-ball at home as well. Now they're taking on a Milwaukee team who failed to cover the point spread in 3 out of the series 4 contests, despite winning their last 2 straight outright. Now the Bucks have also failed to cover the number when they travel this season significantly. Now, out of Milwaukee's 40 road games overall for the year, they successfully covered the point spread just 16 times, and that's good for only 40% in that particular category. Now, one of the biggest problem areas for Milwaukee backers here is their inability to defend the 3-ball. The Bucks are currently dead last in the entire NBA in defending the 3-ball on the road. And as a matter of fact, Milwaukee's letting their opponents make 40% of their 3-pointers against them when they travel. Now, the Bucks also tend to break down defensively late in games. They're currently ranking dead last in the association in third quarter points allowed on the road. Now, the Milwaukee Bucks are also in the bottom 10 in fourth quarter points allowed away from home as well. So these guys tend to break down in the second half defensively when they travel. And just keep in mind here, guys, as good as Giannis has been under the boards here in this series, he's shooting less than 52% from the stripe, and he's making a pitiful 13% of his three-pointers. So when they make him shoot, he's not making them pay for it. Now, total-wise, a lot of overreaction to the lack of scoring in games 3 and 4, in my opinion, both in the markets and, the bettors. That in mind, though, I actually think it may be the defenses who take a little bit of a hit here tonight. Milwaukee's gone 43 and 37 to the over for the entire season. Plenty of overs for them. Meanwhile, the Nets have gone 43 and 38 to the over for the entire season themselves. I'm actually going to lean toward the Brooklyn Nets plus 4.5, keeping this one close. And the over 218. And with that, guys, if you found yourself really enjoying this video here today, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. And if you're new here today or this week, please feel free to welcome yourself to the Brock Page sports betting community by hitting that subscribe button as well. I'd love to connect with you on a daily basis. And with that, guys, now it's time for some shout outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to Gerald Pulaski, Daniel, get it out. Let's try it again. Shout out to Gerald Pulaski, Daniel Robb, Milagros Tremont, Sandbox Mafia, Blaine Medvick, Michael Williams, South Plainfield Striker. Shout out to Mr. Do-Right 33. Shout out to Otizzy Carry On. And last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend, Adam Mazza. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my Patreon website, just keep in mind you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of June. Patreon bills you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Certainly has been an exciting 2021 playoffs here in the NBA. And I'll tell you what, these two series we have, these couple of series we have going on right now, certainly exciting. So we got a lot of NBA playoff basketball ahead of us. But once again, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.